Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, daties and they-thems, welcome to the Mark It Down podcast as we go over AEW Dynamite live here. It's just me, your boy, James, Mr. Soon-to-be Greenbeard, and Chad, Big Bad Johnson. Everyone else sucks. They left us, and I'm scared. So please, be gentle with me, because I need a good cuddle, okay? I need a good cuddle. I thought tonight was a very exciting Dynamite. You know, we had a lot of questions coming out of last week. Chad, you know, before we get into the details, what did you think of the show overall?
Okay, so
I'm already nervous. I'm already nervous.
As you should be. I am here to be the devil's advocate. Oh, I didn't enjoy the show as much as I normally do.
Wow.
I'm giving it a strong 6 out of 10. Sorry, man.
Wow. Wow. Really?
It was going to be a 5.
Holy crap.
I decided to be nice for once in my life.
That is, wow, 6 out of 10. Okay, well, I'm going to need reasons. I'm going to need explanations. But let's get started with how the show started. No bigger way to get the show started than to answer the biggest question following last week's Dynamite going into All Out this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Jon Moxley, new 2-time AEW World Champion, addressing what happened last week in his match with CM Punk, where he destroyed him in under 5 minutes.
Yeah, this is the malarkey.
So Jon Moxley cut a very passionate promo in front of a very, let's just say, pro-Punk crowd there in Chicago. Yeah. And despite telling them a lot of things they didn't want to hear, I got to give it to Moxley. He had them cheering for him by the end of it, saying how, you know what, CM Punk isn't the man we all wanted him to be when he came back and when we welcomed him back into professional wrestling. How CM Punk isn't the champion who was able to compete with Jon Moxley, and how Jon Moxley personifies wrestling entirely. Jon Moxley ends his impassioned promo, leaving an open contract that he signed for the main event of AEW's All Out this Sunday. What did you think of the promo? Did this make you feel any better about last week's decision to have Moxley go over Punk in the fashion that he did? And we'll get into who answers that contract later tonight. But what did you think of this segment?
Okay, so no. Just
no. Just no.
Just no. Okay, so the segment worked because it's Mox, and Mox can make a lot of things work. Mox is a promo machine. So the segment worked in that aspect. In regards to it having anything to do with last week, I totally disagreed with everything that happened last week, as we spoke about in the group chat. So it was kind of troublesome. I'll just say troublesome before we get into who answered and whatnot, because I'll ricochet off that later. But
he's on the other show. He's on your show on Tuesdays. Okay, now Ricochet doesn't belong here.
This is true.
No more talking about Ricochet.
I mean, it was a great promo. It was definitely a champion promo.
Yes,
he should not be champion to me, but I digress. What did you think?
So as somebody who's on the other side of the coin and was very pro Moxley winning, I just wasn't crazy about how they've handled this situation. But I'm happy with Moxley being champion. This promo was perfect. It reminded me something I get reminded every week Moxley's on TV. Just how good a promo Moxley is and just how damn good he is, period. He went into one of the scariest crowds you can, a Chicago crowd. They are passionate, they are loud, they are angry, and guess what? It's CM Punk town. It's CM Punk country.
True.
And he went in there knowing the bombs were going to be coming his way. And all he did was cut the same promo he'd cut anywhere else, as good as he would anywhere else. And my God, did it just give me goosebumps. Not to compare to the other show, not to compare to the other company, but AEW's biggest competition right now, their champion is Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns is a great champion. But every time Moxley comes out with his belt with the Depends on when he's interested. But every time Moxley comes out with the AEW championship, I look at him and I see the champion in professional wrestling.
So you think Moxley is the biggest and best champion in wrestling right now?
I don't know he's the biggest champion. It's hard to overcome the WWE championship. But at the same time, I think he is the best champion in professional wrestling.
Okay. I'll let you slide with some of that. Only because I find Moxley much more interesting than Roman.
I'll take it.
Other than that, I can't get over the fact that I think this is the wrong play. I'm trying to be patient because I know that AEW is great at storytelling, and I hate being complacent and like a fair weather fan. But I you know what? I'll let it be. I'll just say that.
I'm interested.
I'll keep it at that.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I thought I was going to face a way more resistance, so I am okay with all of that. So let's move on because we had a packed show tonight. The first match of the night, going with what is probably my favorite storyline going right now in AEW, Bryan Danielson taking on Jake Hager with Chris Jericho on commentary. But before the match started, we had a quick little promo backstage with Jericho. Being interviewed by, I believe it was Alex Marvez. I don't think it was Shivani, but
yes, it was someone different. I don't know the name, but
yeah, it was Alex Marvez, and he gets interrupted by Daniel Garcia. I'm Jericho all of a sudden, saying how he needed a week to think, but he is a sports entertainer and he is on Jericho's side, and how happy that made Jericho. Moving to the match. Bryan Danielson taking on Jake Hager. You know, I love this match for a lot of reasons. It just shows that AEW gets who Bryan is. They don't constantly do the underdog story, which is so easy to do with Bryan, especially against someone like Hager, who is just so physically imposing, so big. To me, Bryan felt like the bigger competitor here. And Bryan Danielson going over Jake Hager with the flying knee, his knee. And I love this match. I enjoyed it. It was hard hitting, very ground and pound, going through tables, kicking the crap out of each other, submission counters. This was a great match. What did you think of it?
If Bryan did not win this match, it would have easily been a 5 out of 10. Maybe even a 4.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I dislike Jake Hager. Everyone knows that. So I'm here to sprinkle a little hate.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
The match was good because both of these guys can wrestle. I am just, however, super uninterested in Jake Hager. But seeing Bryan on my screen is always a delight. He deserved the win. I knew he was going to win. It was a hard-hitting match, as you said. The match wasn't bad, so I cannot complain. Or else I'll leave my complaining where it is.
You know what? For someone who is so negative on the show so far, I gotta say, you're not really backing it up, and I'm okay with that because I didn't feel like fighting tonight.
It's coming.
Enough.
It's coming. This is the beginning of the show.
Was there any spot in the match that stood out to you? Any big moment?
Absolutely, the knee.
The knee finish?
The knee. It was the one. That was just it for me.
See, I got to give it to Hager, that table spot where he just carried Bryan and then dropped him through it. I love that spot. Got to give the devil his credit where it's
due.
Good. And it was good. It was good. But Bryan Danielson proving again why he is the dragon, the American dragon of AEW. Following the match, the Jericho Appreciation Society does what they do best and put their big noses where they don't belong, where we had 2.0, Matt Maynard, D'Angelo Parker come out and attack.
You know
Bryan.
Their names?
You have no idea how much stress I had just saying their names, but because I wasn't sure if it was legit. But you got to say it with confidence, Chad. You got to say it with confidence. And they were attacking Bryan. They get chased out by Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, part of the Blackpool Combat Club, the greatest faction in professional wrestling today. I don't care what anybody else says. Suck it, Eric. But as they're running those two clowns out, Jericho comes out with a chair, getting ready to beat down Bryan Danielson ahead of their match this weekend at All Out. Who stops him? No one else but the sports entertainer, wrestler, guy, man, amazing talent, Daniel Garcia. That surprises Jericho, who turns right around into another knee from Bryan. I am so excited for this match on Sunday. I love this segment. I love the saga of Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia. I'm really hoping Garcia sees the light and realizes he is a professional wrestler in this company. Chad, what did you think of the aftermath?
I hate 2.0.
Okay.
I hate Jake Hager. I'm not a huge fan of JAS. I do like Jericho enough. As you know, I am also not really the biggest fan of BCC as of late because I don't feel like they have been much of a group.
Nonsense. I respect you, Chad. I love you as a human being. You're an amazing person, but your opinion is wrong right now.
You see the shirt. I ain't sorry. I hate, absolutely hate with every fiber in my being to agree with Eric, but it is really just Wheeler, Yuta, and them. Like, everybody is just elsewhere. Claudio's in the mix, but he's not really in the mix. They're ROH champions. I don't know, man. I'm not into it as I once was. Or maybe I just thought we would be somewhere else with this faction.
What could they do to make you happy at this point?
Have tag team matches.
Okay, you know what? That's fair.
Small victories.
Fair. I'll take that.
Come out together and make me think that they are an actual stable.
Like, they always support each other. I got to give them that. William Regal comes out for every match that the BCC is involved in, and if there's ever an instance where one of them needs help, there's always somebody coming down the wings. I got to give them that.
Okay.
Victory. I'll take it.
Sure.
I'll take it. Moving on to what was my holy shit moment of the night. We had the Wingmen out, a group we haven't really seen on AEW television as a unit in a long time. We had Pretty Peter Avalon. When was the last time this man was on Dynamite? I think it's been like 70 years. I'm not a mathematician or a historian, but that sounds right. And they're saying how, you know what? They're never on TV. They're the hottest men on the roster. Why aren't they on Dynamite more often? Great question, Pretty Peter. Great question, Ryan Nemeth. But, somebody had the answer for them. And that was the big man, W. Morrissey, formerly known as Big Cass. Now, if you're like me and if you're an Impact fan, you guys know just how much W. Morrissey has transformed himself since the last time we saw him on national television. He comes out looking jacked to the tits, kids. Jacked to the tits. Destroys every member of the Wingmen. That's like 4 or 5 guys. Has the scariest chokeslam I've seen in years, where he straight up points to the camera while he's holding the man with one hand and then drops him. I screamed when I saw him come out. I was so excited to see this guy who, by all accounts, has turned his life around for the better, getting a shot at redemption. What was that?
Thank goodness for that.
Right? Yeah. Look, he did a lot of messed up shit when he was in a bad place in his life. But AEW seems to be the place where people can get second chances. So unless he messes up again, I'm willing to give him the second chance.
Okay.
But after laying waste to the men in the ring, who else comes out but Stokely Hathaway with his little business card once again. And here we are with Morrissey taking that business card. As they're going up the ramp, Shivani asks them what's going on. Stokely says, "It's none of your business. I don't want to talk about it." And Shivani with the comment of the night, "This is a wrestling show. You're doing it on a wrestling show. It's my job to ask." Thank you, Tony Schiavone, for saying something that makes absolute sense. He got scared right away just by looking at W. Morrissey, but good on him for having the balls to even try in the first place. What did you think of this segment? What do you think of W. Morrissey? I know how you feel about Stokely Hathaway.
I'm going to say it anyway because the fans must know. I was absolutely fine with the segment until Stokely came. I'm sorry to say. Spirit Squad 2.0 came out, and I said, holy shit, this guy looks exactly like Dolph Ziggler. They must not be related. But W. Morrissey looked strong. I'm with you. I'm not faulting him for his WWE shenanigans. I'm seeing him as a new wrestler. And, it was cool. He looked huge. He looked like a beast. He looked like he was, he laid waste to the whole squad, which was dope. And then that damn Stokely came out and ruined the one thing that I thought would be okay tonight on tonight's show.
Admittedly, he didn't really take away from what Morrissey did. It's just if you're not a fan of Stokely, yes, you don't really want to see him involved. But I will say, this group that he's assembling, between Morrissey, between the Ass Boys, between who else did we have in this group has he handed his card out to in recent weeks?
I had it on the tip of my tongue before you said the Ass Boys, and now I can't think of who it was.
At least two other.
Was it Tony Nese?
No, he's with Mark Sterling, and who cares either way. But this group does seem intriguing. Oh, Ethan Page.
Ethan Page. Yes.
So
Ethan Page.
This is a group of guys who I think have been on the cusp of being able to achieve something greater than they have. And I'm willing to see what this group can be. If they want to circle around, if they want to be formed around W. Morrissey, I'm excited for that prospect.
I'm cool with that. I would like to see what happens with the group more so outside of Stokely. I know he's the one putting it together. Yeah. And if he's going to be the mouthpiece, I guess that's fine because I know he can talk from his Diamond Mine days. Yep. Malcolm Bivens, greater than sign for the fans on live with us. But I don't know. Something seems off. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be patient. I'll leave it at that.
AEW has been all about letting it play out lately.
That's
so
true.
Let's give it time. Let's see. Just quick shout out to everybody watching so far, everybody in the chat. We love you. Keep telling us what you think. We'll address you when we can. I will say the BCC would destroy the House of Black, as the kids say, no cap. But I'm
only because they have bigger stars. House of Black is a better faction at this point, though. Sorry, James.
It took them like 6 months to recruit the little blonde girl. Come on.
How long has BCC been together?
Less than it took for them to recruit Julia Hart.
And what have they accomplished?
The BCC?
Yeah. As a group, James.
They are a group of individuals. They are a group of individuals who like to compete. They have a bond that is built in blood. Haha. Going full circle with that. John Moxley, first two-time AEW champion. Claudio Castagnoli wins his first world title ever as part of the BCC. Wheeler Yuta, pure champion for 154 days. Bryan Danielson, fucks. So that's all that matters.
It's the Breakfast Club. They're together for... That's what BC really should stand for. They're the Breakfast Club. They're together for one detention. And everybody else is doing their own thing.
I am done with your silliness, Mr. Penguin. Julia Hart is killing it. It just took a long time to get there. But moving on, we have our tag team match featuring the 4 competitors competing for the interim AEW Women's Championship this Sunday at All Out. We had Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm. Chad, I'm going to let you start with this because you said something that was so bold, so brave, yet so controversial, and I support you. Please share it here.
Okay, I will be controversial. That's me tonight. I'm a heel.
That's what we do.
So the match was fine, by the way. Sheeta tore it up. She was the standout for me. I always like seeing Hayter. DMD is good. Britt is good when she's good. I think, guys, and I am sorry in advance to anyone whose feelings this may hurt, I think we have overhyped Toni Storm. I think she is just a step above mediocre in the ring.
Gosh darn it. Wow.
I don't want to call her complete mid, but she's not as good as I thought she was. And it showed tonight. The transitions, the moves. She's been in a tag team for the last month, and just seeing her work, I'm like, I might have told them to shoot the gun prior to knowing what was going on. It is what it is.
R.I.P. your social media. Good luck with that.
I mean, she looks great.
I don't think that's what people want to hear, but fair enough. We got Sheeta and Storm going over Britt and Jamie Hayter with a rare pinfall on Britt Baker. You don't see that often, especially on TV. So this was a big moment. Sheeta getting the 1, 2, 3. You know, I don't know who's going to win this Sunday. The rules of opposite momentum would say Britt would win. But my pick also lost tonight in that match, Jamie Hayter. So this was a good match between the 4 women. It was a nice preview of what's to come. I can't wait to see Tony and Sheeta go at it. And I can't wait to see some dissension between Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. Moving on to what was the culmination of the earlier segment tonight. We had Chicago's own CM Punk make his entrance out looking dejected. Mm-hmm. Punk comes out and says that he has 3 plates in his foot with 16 screws, and that's 16 more screws than the fat guy in the front row who was booing him, according to Punk. Not my words, guys. Not my words. We do not body shame here at the Mark It Down podcast. I just had a huge plate of pasta. I feel for that guy. Punk said that this wasn't a case of him not coming back too early. Or this wasn't a case of him coming back too early. He was 100% medically cleared, but he doesn't know if this 100% is the same as his old 100%. He doesn't know if he can keep going. He doesn't know if he has what it takes to keep moving on. He feels that he let the fans down. He says that he knows this sport doesn't love him the way he loves it, but he does know that the fans love him the way he loves them, and he feels like he failed them. He feels he failed his sister. He feels that he failed his dog, Larry, for 2 months because he couldn't walk him. Larry has to be a little more understanding. I'm just putting that out there. Punk, don't feel too bad about it. So as Punk is having his little pity party, out comes everyone's favorite producer, Ace Steel. Now, I didn't mention this earlier, guys, but Ace came out when Jon Moxley left the contract in the middle of the ring. Ace came out, grabbed the contract, and went backstage. Now, a little bit of a history lesson. Ace is both a producer backstage for AEW, and he's the man who trained CM Punk. He came out, says that he's tired of hearing Punk talk like this. This isn't what they talked about when Punk was supposed to come out here. Punk is going off script. Why is Punk doing this? He says that as proud of his own career as he is, he's even prouder of Punk's. That this is the man who sold out Chicago on a rumor. This is the man who he knows has what it takes to take that title back. He slaps the crap out of CM Punk. Honestly, I got goosebumps watching it. The crowd, he tells them, if you forgot who you are, CM Punk, they'll remind you, leading to an impassioned CM Punk chant from that Chicago crowd. Punk gets fiery. This is the man who took the title of John Cena in Chicago. This is the man who took the title of Hangman. This is CM Punk. He goes through the crowd. He takes his shirt off, looking jacked, baby, and he signs that contract amongst his people, signifying the main event of All Out, CM Punk versus Jon Moxley in a rematch for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Chad, what did you think of the segment? Did it make you feel any better? What are your thoughts?
Okay. This, for me, was a whirlwind. I think everyone knows how much I love CM Punk. When I first saw him, I had in my mind, in my heart, and in my stomach that this promo was not going to matter. He was just going to talk shit, and it was going to be great because it's Punk. But with the situation at hand, I just felt like the handling was a little sloppy, and I just didn't care to hear the segment until I was glad to hear the segment. I mean, it's the passion for me. I mean, Punk is he'll always be one of the guys who I think whenever he opens his mouth, whether it's for a minute or an hour, I'm going to listen and I'm going to take heed to everything he says. It was very weird saying, "Hey, you in the front row, you're fat as hell," and then I love
He
all the
acknowledged
fans.
he shouldn't have said it. He acknowledged
Right,
he
he
probably
did.
shouldn't have said it.
He did, but I mean, it took. I was taken aback when you said "fat guy in the front row," and then it turned to 1 minute later, "I love you all so much." I was like, just damn it, break the chain and be a heel. Let's go. I'm with it. But I mean, when Ace came out, everything that corresponded after that, I was in it. I had to forget all of my woes and and all of my misery and whatever was going on. I stuck with it. I was excited. The segment was great. Punk is just great. Period. Still think he shouldn't have lost last week, but whatever. It's water under the bridge. I'm kind of excited again, and the match is gonna fuck. So like,
It really
who
is.
who am I?
These are two of the best wrestlers in the world today, and they're going to be competing in the main event of a pay-per-view that everyone is talking about. This, despite how we might feel about what happened last week, how they pivoted, how they've changed things, no one can deny that this is the most interesting story going on in kayfabe in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So I got to give it to them. It's raised a lot of questions. It's caused a lot of doubt. But no matter what, we're talking. We're hyped. I'm hyped at least. I might not be Mojo Rawley, but I'm staying hyped for this. So I'm excited to see what happens on Sunday. I'm rooting for Moxley, but I won't lie to you, Punk. You got me going.
Why would you root for Moxley?
Why would I root for one BCC for life? First of all, and second of all, I don't know.
You're the only one who feels that way. The wrestlers in the group don't even feel like it's BCC for life. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop busting your balls on just that one, though.
I am a person. I can only stand for so much.
I know.
But anyway, great segment between these two men. And we then go to a backstage sit-down interview that was conducted earlier today by good old JR with Christian Cage and Jungle Boy. Cage says he's going to destroy Jungle Boy at less than 100%. Jungle Boy says that he cared about Christian a lot and that he loved him. Christian says, "I'm not your dad. I'm not here to be your dad." And Jungle Boy says that his father taught him how to be a man, and that this Sunday, Christian Cage will not be facing Jungle Boy. He will be facing Jack Perry. I really like this quick little back and forth between the two. Jungle Boy has grown so much in this time, in this feud with Christian Cage. Some of the promos have been a little clunky. I know not everyone's crazy about how Luchasaurus has been handled in this feud, but overall, Jungle Boy being the focus of what AEW is trying to accomplish, I think that they're getting the job done with him. What do you think?
Yeah, that was my main focus, was where the hell is Luchasaurus. But despite that, I gotta say, Jungle Boy is definitely, I think this backstage segment made me finally realize that this feud does indeed need to happen. And it needs to happen because Christian is the perfect person to literally grow, I think, any young talent. We all know my appreciation for Christian. I think he's a mastermind in the ring and out the ring. And I'm seeing the growth in Jungle Boy. So that does tell me that they're in the right direction, regardless of what I've said the previous weeks. Whatever, sue me later. But yeah, he's definitely growing. I see Jungle Boy. He's getting more comfortable talking. He's becoming more of a star. He's already had the look. His in-ring is cool. If anything, he's just building and building onto his resume. So I'm here for it. This is one of the things I actually enjoyed tonight.
I'll take it. You see, once we talk about it, there's a lot to love. There's a lot to love. I'm going to ask you again at the end of the night what your 1 to 10 on this was. But okay. I totally agree with you. It's interesting because to me, Jungle Boy was always sort of the four pillars. He was kind of always the one in the back. He accomplished a lot on his own and as a tag team, but it always felt that Darby was ahead of him. It felt that MJF was ahead of him. It felt that Sammy is the fourth pillar. It felt like Sammy was ahead of him. And late, but it feels that they had a long-term plan with Jungle Boy. They recognized he was probably the greenest of the four, and he needed a little more time to develop, and they've handled him beautifully. So love the segment, love where they're taking Jungle Boy. We have Mr. Penguin in the group chat, not in the group chat, but in the live chat, saying that Lucha needs to turn on Jungle Boy.
Agreed.
No, sir. No.
Nope.
No.
Agreed.
Yes. No. He says no. No is the only word I'm paying attention to.
Mr. Penguin, you are now my favorite person in the live chat. I absolutely agree with you. More Luchasaurus. Thank you.
I'm more Luchasaurus, but more of him being friends with Jungle Boy.
No.
We like baby faces here.
No, we like hills.
Very quickly, our thoughts on the real life heat between Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara. I'll touch on it very briefly. I think Eddie Kingston at the end of this is going to end up smelling like daisies, and Sammy Guevara is just going to continue to put his foot in his mouth. Eddie was in the wrong in how they handled that. The physical altercation should have never happened. Eddie was wrong. He acknowledged he was wrong. He apologized. He served his suspension, and he acknowledged that Sammy Guevara was not in the wrong. He himself was. Sammy is the person who continues to bury Eddie in these interviews, or at least had been burying him in these interviews, and he is not taking the same high road that Eddie is trying to take now. So I hope that they can both put this behind them. They are both extremely talented guys, but Sammy, his IRL comments continue to sour him on me just a little bit. Chad, really quickly, what do you think?
I absolutely agree. I don't even think I can spark a statement to wrap up what you said. I agree completely. Sammy, you look like a fuckboy. Danny already said you're a fuckboy. Grow up, man. Come on.
Yep. Now, there you go. Grow up, fuckboy. Moving on to what was a very quick squash match. We had the sometimes pinnacle FTR and Wardlow versus people. One of whom I could identify as Ring of Honor as Silas Young, and two other guys who I couldn't tell you who they were. This was a very quick squash match where Wardlow gets the win after 2 power bombs, and FTR hits the big rig. There's not much to say about this match. It was a quick squash match against some jobbers. I hate to call Silas Young that, but he himself is a little bit of a fuckboy, but we didn't say it here. But, nice match. Shows their dominance going into the pay-per-view against the Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal. Anything you want to talk about?
I kind of didn't need this. I get it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Whatever. Use FTR as much as you can, because they're the best tag team in wrestling right now. I said it.
I agree. I think you'll find very few people who would disagree. Maybe the Motor City Machine Guns would disagree, but we'll find out on Sunday. Moving on, we had Jon Moxley coming out again because, apparently he's got to get the last word in every promo battle. He talks about that this Sunday, he knows Punk wants to go out on his shield, but Moxley is going to try to take Punk's head off. Moxley says he will produce violence Punk has never seen before. Moxley says he's going to go into a legend he's going to turn into a legend before everyone's eyes. I didn't quite need this. It's always great to see Moxley with a mic in his hand. It was really funny that the music cut him off a little bit early there, but it was a quick little retort to Punk, who himself was kind of retorting to Mox in the first place. Anything you want to add, Chad?
Again, very unnecessary. I love Mox as much as the next guy. I didn't need this. Even though last week, the week before, I guess we are kind of stepping on our toes where we said that we appreciate and like banter in between matches, back and forths where they extend over the course of the episode. So I did like that he came out, because I like that the story is progressing in different segments. But other than that, it was kind of unneeded. I am looking forward to the match, but he didn't need the last word. You're the champion. Shut up. You squashed him last week.
I agree. I completely agree, but I'm not going to tell Jon Moxley to shut the fuck up. He scares me.
Okay. Fair.
Moving forward, we had a fatal four-way with 4 of the members of the upcoming Casino ladder match at All Out. Why are they having a Casino ladder match in Chicago? I don't know, but it's going to be fun. We had Dante Martin versus Roosh versus Ray Phoenix versus Wheeler Yuta. This was a very fun match, very fast-paced, not surprising given the 4 men involved in the match. I can't even begin to tell you all the spots that happened, but safe to say there was a lot of flipping, there was a lot of jumping, there was a lot of diving, and there was a lot of excitement. The match ends with Wheeler Yuta rolling up Dante with what was a pin that I don't even know how he contorted his body and Dante's body in such a way, but he got the 1, 2, 3, proving how good the BCC is once again. Bask in their glory, but great match. What did you think of it? It was a quick one at only around 8 minutes. Did you like it?
I did. I actually loved this match. This match was good for me. I mean, Dante Martin is him in the ring, period. Wheeler Yuta is him in the ring, period. I'm more interested in Wheeler Yuta than I've ever been, and I'm always interested in Wheeler Yuta. So I don't understand how, like, his potential does not have a cap. It just doesn't have a cap. Like, the ceiling is too low.
I completely agree.
For him. Like, the stars are just aligned for him to break out and be great. You were talking about the spots, and the pin spot was the one for me. That was the best thing I've seen in a while. Like, it was innovative. It was creative. Like, you got to give Dante Martin his props for taking it the way he, like, I don't know. It was fun. It was a fun match. I don't need to see Roosh again. I'm getting a little bit tired of seeing Roosh every week instead of like Jay Lethal or somebody else who could easily be in that spot. But it was a good match. I will not complain.
I completely agree. Moving back actually to something I missed earlier in the night. We had the United Empire, which is Will Ospreay and Aussie Open, backstage getting interviewed when wrestling's favorite slime ball, Don Callis, came out and tried to praise Ospreay. You know, he tried hyping him up. He tried giving him a little bit of love. Very surprising move considering how his boy Kenny Omega does not have any love for Will Ospreay, and the feeling is mutual. I don't know why they did this. It felt like a red herring. It felt like, to plant the seeds for a little distrust later in the night. Mistrust, distrust. There was no trust. But, not much to say on this, but it was a nice little red herring. But continuing with the trios tournament, we saw last week 10, that guy who can't fucking beat a security guard up. He hurt his little knee. His little knee got hurt. Oh, sorry. All right. I believe it's kayfabe, so that's why I can joke like this. 10 out of the trios tournament going to be replaced by Evil Uno. I love it. I love Uno. Uno is amazing. And they are weirdly confronted by Andrade. Why? No idea. Do they have anything in common? No. Is Uno, I guess, Spanish? Is that why Andrade wants to talk to him? I don't know. That felt vaguely racist on my part. I apologize, everybody, but I don't get why they did what they did. Andrade gives Uno money saying, hey, I want to hire you guys. Come work for me. He, this is his shtick. He thinks he could buy people. I don't get it, but he offers them money and Uno says, I'm sorry, but we're Dark Order for life. Gonna keep it up. Totally reasonable response, very respectful, and Andrade responds in the only way he knows how. He beats the crap out of both of them with this, with the 10's crutch, and then Jose, the assistant, keeps 10 at bay with a taser. He had a taser to this man's chest. None of it made sense. It was wild, but that was tonight's AEW Dynamite. Uno knocked out, laid out, does not look like he can go. And then we see Alex Reynolds and John Silver in the back being interviewed saying, this tournament has been the best opportunity Dark Order has had while in AEW, and they're going to make the most of it, even if it's just the two of them. Well, it's not going to be the two of them, because who comes to the rescue? Everyone's favorite millennial cowboy, Hangman Page. Says, right. I wanted you guys to have your moment. I wanted All Out to be your moment. I wanted to be in your corner. But if you guys need help, I'll be there if you'll have me. So now, taking the spot of 10, taking the spot of Evil Uno, Hangman Adam Page teaming with the Beaver Boys this Friday on Rampage against the Best Friends. Moving on to the main event. I'm exhausted. Danny, Nick, don't ever do this to me again. We have the elite, the elite Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, taking on Will Ospreay, the United Empire, and Aussie Open, whatever they are. They have a lot of names. Gotta say, favorite part of this match, favorite part of this was Justin Roberts' Kenny Omega entrance, where everything he said was how much better Kenny Omega was than Will Ospreay. And this match was amazing, but nothing could beat that entrance. You guys have to check it out. This was a great back and forth between 6 great competitors. I know I often joke that Aussie Open doesn't really do it for me, but I cannot deny their talent. They were killing it tonight.
Yeah.
All 6 men delivered. Kenny Omega has his shirt ripped off. We see this man is bandaged. This man is suction cupped. This man is pale. Kenny, get a tan, man. I know you've been rehabbing, but tan again. Come on. You should not look like me. You're better than this. You're better, Kenny. But great match between the 6 men. Lots of moonsaults, lots of flips, lots of V-triggers, lots of super kicks, lots of cohesion. This was a great trios match with the win going to the elite. Kenny Omega gets the win with the one-winged angel on one of the members of Aussie Open. Great teamwork by these 6 men. Great match. I cannot say enough to hype it up. This was a great tease of what is probably to come between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. Longtime shit talkers on Twitter, eventually for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And great to know the Elite will be in their finals of the Trios tournament at the pay-per-view this Sunday. I am excited. What did you think, Chad?
Okay, you got me. This was the one. This was one of them ones. This was match of the night for me. I agree with everything you said. It was stellar. Fucking Will Ospreay is like otherworldly. I don't know if it's because I haven't been exposed to him as much as the, like the New Japan fans or other events, but damn, this guy can go. I am willing to watch any match he is in from here to eternity. Kenny Omega is going to show up every time. Everybody knows that. Whether he's at 100% or 10%, he's going to fucking show up.
I'll just say Kenny Omega's 10% is better than almost anyone's 100%.
I completely agree. I fully agree with you. The Young Bucks, of course, are going to do what the fuck they do every single time. There's no love lost with them.
Nope.
I was surprised with the Aussie Open guys. I didn't know who the fuck they were. I thought they were gonna, just be terrible, maybe hold up Will, but they did a great job of like consolidating the team and being on and competing. It was a strong match. Very, very good match. I definitely have to say that this was the one. This made the night much better than it started out as.
This was what we knew it was going to be, a great wrestling match.
Right.
Little bit of drama because of Kenny and Ospreay, but it didn't matter. All that matters was what happened between bell to bell. And I loved it. I know I joked about Kenny being a little pale, but it was great to see. There was some concern about his physique. A lot of people were joking, well, he's wearing the shirt because he's got a little bit of a tummy. You know what? I just think they're slowly building to the reveal that Kenny Omega will be 100% sooner than we think. Absolutely. I think this was a great match. To address some of the comments in the chat, I don't know if I'll say Ospreay was the star of this match. It took 2 to tango, or in this case, 6 to tango. And I got to give credit to each and every man. Aussie Open was great. The Bucks were great. Kenny was great. And Ospreay, he's a bit of a knob, but he was great too. It was great too.
Absolutely Ospreay. I agree with Dragoon. Ospreay was the bona fide, certified star of this match, even with Kenny Omega in the match. Sorry, Kenny. Love Kenny. Maybe I've seen him too many times and I'm just, Ospreay is a novelty, but Ospreay is a wrestling god. Shout out to JBL.
Just sort of feel, it's okay. We appreciate loyalty on the Mark It Down podcast, and, some of us have been loyal to Kenny Omega all this time, but I digress. Mr. Penguin, yes, I agree. If the best friends are going to be in the finals of this tournament, I would love to see Sue drop them off. It's been a long time, too long since we've seen Sue. And anything
they're not
going
to win, though, Penguin. Sorry.
They're not going to win.
We know what it is.
That's fine. I've been waiting for my elite drama for like 300 days almost.
So now let me ask you, sir.
Sir, please do.
In good faith, I think I know who you have as winning, and we'll get to that with the predictions later. Who would you want or like to actually win?
God, don't do this to me.
Right answers only. Come on.
All right. I never want to see Kenny Omega lose, ever. I want him to hold every belt that professional wrestling has to offer simultaneously.
Understood.
That said, the Dark Order has gone too long in AEW and have been too consistent in terms of entertainment and in terms of match quality to not have gold around their waists.
Let me hear it.
The last time the Dark Order had gold in their group was when Mr. Brody Lee was the TNT champion. That was 2 long years ago. It's 2 years too long. It's time for the Dark Order to hold gold again in AEW.
I agree with you. That was mouth surgery, but I'm glad I got it out of you.
So yes, guys, that was Dynamite. It was a great show, I thought. Chad, now at the end of it, talking about it, do you stick with your 6 out of 10?
6.7.
You couldn't give me the 0.9. We were this close to niceness. But no. Anyway, guys, I was very excited about tonight's Dynamite. I hope it warms you up to what happened last week on the show. I know there was a lot of division considering how the title match went, but I think they did a great job of getting us hype again for this pay-per-view on Sunday, which on paper has such a strong card. Let's see if they can deliver. We will be doing our predictions video. We will be doing a predictions video for All Out. We will be doing a predictions video for Clash at the Castle for WWE. We will most likely be doing a predictions video for Worlds Collide for NXT. Let's see. There's only so many hours in the day. But before we go, I do need to thank everybody. We have finally hit 100 subscribers. We could not have done it without each and every one of you. It truly means so much to us. We've accomplished a lot this last year with the podcast. We have big plans for the future, and we are so excited to take you guys on this journey with us. Next time you see me, I may or may not have a green beard. I'm just waiting to get everything going, but it will happen. I promise. Give us another week or 2 for the rap video. That will happen. I hate it. You guys are going to love it. Please don't cancel me. They are not my words. I am just the dummy for Danny. But yes, thank you again for joining us here at the Mark It Down podcast. We love you. We love each other. We're not the Golden Lovers, but we are best friends. Have a good night. Thank you, everybody.